I'm Paul Harvington, and this is your CHE-115 HPLC training video. We're here in 3480. I got the HPLC all fired up. First thing you need to do is make sure you got the valve closed. That bypasses the direction of the flow between the column and or this valve. So we've got the computer fired up. First thing we're going to do is find HPLC1 online, lower right corner. I'm going to launch that. We're going to get posed with a set of choices: upload, download, or start from new. Choose the first of the two, it doesn't matter. Upload or download. Never start from new because it won't have the impulses in place for the auto sampler and everything else to work. I feel like uploading today, so we're going to choose that. And you can hear stuff booting up over there, the auto sampler, fraction collector. And now we get this screen here, multi-module panel. It says my default method here is default. It's the default LC. You know, I'm going to go ahead and choose. Let's scroll down here. Let's just choose paraben 80. I'm going to load that method. I'm not going to save the changes. I don't know what happened. Now we're going to turn on the pump. And now we're going to turn on the DAD. And as the DAD warms up, we're going to go from there. So I'm just doing single sample. I suggest you guys just do single samples. If you want to do gradient or sequence on the parabens, I guess that's fine. I'm going to leave that up to the TA choice, but I'm going to train you for single sample. Once the DAD starts, we'll start the run. So I'm going to go run control to sample info. Let's go ahead and create a new directory, and we're going to call it Winter 2022. Create it, yes. Okay, vial location is in 2. Sample. This is actually a paraben test mixture that you get with stuff. It's pretty much the same sample we got, but I just diluted it to 50%. So I'm just going to call this test mix 1. Comment. Paraben. It's basically a checkout sample I found in the lab. Alright, so start location, sample amount, none of that matters here. That's why I'm going to just say OK. And I want to check the method before I start running. So method, edit entire method. I want everything checked. I'm not going to worry about these later two things. Usually we've got some notes in here. Auto samplers checked, that's good. Flush volume has to be 85. Injection volume, probably 50 is fine. You has to be 50 for caffeine, okay? Now we don't do anything with the injector program. Pumps, I'm pumping at 3 mils per minute, 80% for 7 minutes, okay? Water, methanol, DAD. Pump time needs to be the same as injector time, needs to be the same as the run time. And so you notice on DAD we're going 254, 210, 273. Same as we did for the capillary electrophoresis. Alright. I'm just going to say OK. And then I can cancel. I didn't change anything, so I can skip the remaining sections and not do anything. Since I already prepped my sample, let's go ahead and start the run. Now, some things to look for, and I've already taken care of it, but we can open this up while it's running. And the thing that happens after a long break is we dry out in here, it evaporates. You have to have liquid in here for it to pull sample up there. So if that's dry, then it's not going to pull a sample. But I already took care of that, so we should have a good run. Now, the check valve here needs to be changed. I didn't get to change it. But if we start dripping here, then I probably need to change the check valve in here. You know how the university is. We're just like America's healthcare. We respond to crisis. We don't pre-plan. Actually, I am trying to pre-plan on that. We've exceeded the number of injections and it's still running strong. So, can we get another quarter? I don't know. I didn't see any drip, did you? Looks like everything's running good. So I'm going to carefully close this. I want to make sure I don't trap the line and or disconnect it from the column. All right, similar to the CE, we can also do the online spectra and look at the DAD. And so we don't need to be all the way down here. Do we need to be to 1,000? Probably not. Maybe let's try, what is it, 600, topping out at 600 there? I'm gonna say 200, okay? Maybe minus 50. Let's do 180. And it looks like we're going out to 1,000 here, so that means the tungsten lamp is on. And so what, about 920 maybe? I guess we could go a little bit higher. Let's try 250. 300. But this is never going to change because methanol's in here, right? And so methanol really absorbs down here, and so notice how we have a little peak down here at 210. I'm going to come back over here. We got all these wacky wavelengths in here and stuff going on. I'll clean this up for you guys. So change. We don't need this in here. I like to see the pressure, and so I think we'll just deal with that. You can click on the one you want. Usually the CIM is going to be the mixture of all three of them. Looks like we've got a pretty big change between them. 10, 0, and 1. Let's get these all on about the same line. Make that 2. Now it's a 0, 1, and 2. Now I can adjust. I can click on whichever one I want the scale to be. Pressure still increasing, so this is kind of still a funky run. This is the first real run. I really should have ran a full run before doing this. But we're just firing this up and validating it for CHE-115, so it's still a useful run to show you guys how to do the training on how to get this thing going. So you can see there's a bunch of garbage out here. Really, we don't need to be out here. Our peaks are all going to be under 400. So we might even change that method. Oh, it sounds like the construction is starting up. And so similar to the CE, when the peak elutes, we'll see the UV vis spectrum here in this little window here. Let's get rid of the 210, we don't need that. And why are we on 40 minutes? It's a 7-minute run, so I like to keep it to that. You can see we've got a couple peaks out. Not very smooth, but we're still building pressure in that column, so that column slowly dissipated its pressure and all that good stuff. Next run will be a lot smoother. So when the auto sampler is not in action, the carousel moves freely, but when it is moving, do not move it. Otherwise, you'll strip the gears. It's got a little belt in there to drive it. Just a couple more minutes. I believe everything has eluted. So I'm going to go ahead and hit stop. Apparently the fraction collector was doing something. And then here's our PDF. So we saw something come out. Let's go ahead and run it again. Change the method. Let's go down to 70. We didn't change anything, so there's nothing really to say, but we'll go ahead and do that. Load 70. And then I'm going to run it again. And so that's pretty much it in a nutshell. The one thing that's important though is when we're done with it at the end of the day, I got to make sure you guys stop the pump so it stops pumping. My staff wasn't so good last quarter, and there was a couple times where it ran all night, so we really went through the methanol last quarter, and that's not good. We want to keep the fees down and make sure that's shut off, so it's best if everybody checks on it. All right, we'll see you on the next experiment.